after being in COVID protocols for games 1 and 2, CP3 trying to get to the finals for the first time in his career. On the other side, the Clippers also trying to get their first finals ever, but will be without star Kawhi Leonard again. Stephen A., is tonight a bigger game for the Clippers as a franchise or Chris Paul in terms of his legacy?
Max, could you go first on this, please? I'd like to hear what you have to say.
I'm happy to. It's another great question because there are good answers on both sides. I'm taking the Clippers. This is a bigger game for the Los Angeles Clippers than for Chris Paul. Do you understand they've never played in a finals in their franchise's history? Never. Not once. The Clippers, if they go down 0-3, Stephen A., having now lost at home, if they lose this game, it's over. If they can win, if they can scratch out a win at home without Kawhi, even in the face of Chris Paul's return, and Kawhi comes back, and look, it doesn't look good, right? But if he does, Kawhi gets back and they're down 2-1, they can still win this series with the comeback kid at coach, right? With Ty Lue at coach. They can still do it. If they lose, it's over. And Stephen A., this is their window. We keep saying it's the Clippers' window closes. Everyone's going to, Kawhi can opt out. This whole thing could fall apart right when LeBron and AD come back next year. And goodbye, Clippers. I don't even know if they could stay in Los Angeles after that. This is the biggest game in the history of the Clippers franchise.
I disagree with you. I think it's Chris Paul. It's a bigger game for Chris Paul. Let me throw the shade out on the Clippers for a second here. You already made it to the conference finals for the first time in franchise history. And Kawhi Leonard is gone. I think everything that you just said, Max, is applicable if Kawhi Leonard was healthy. But with Kawhi Leonard being out, unfortunately, you have a built-in excuse of not ultimately winning it all because Paul George and Kawhi Leonard there together wasn't able to get it done. That's a different ballgame. But with Kawhi Leonard out, one of the top 5 players in the game who's clearly a superstar talent in terms of what he brings to the table along with his championship pedigree, that's the reality of the situation. And I think when you look at it from that perspective, that sort of shreds or dissipates significantly the level of pressure that's applied to the Clippers. Don't get swept, but in the same breath, as long as you're competitive and you're competitive without Kawhi Leonard, at the end of the day, we're able to say they got to the conference finals for the first time in franchise history. In the case of CP3, this is the closest he's ever been to a championship. Now, I know you would say Houston, but that was James Harden's team. Chris Paul was there, but it was still James Harden's team. This is CP3's team. Phoenix is rolling. They've got a 2-0 lead in the Western Conference Finals. They're 2 games away from his first ever trip to the NBA Finals. And a slew of injuries, which is what derailed him throughout his career, has now happened to other people. And so because that is the case, all right, when you look at this Phoenix squad who won 2 games without him, if they come back and they lose with him and he doesn't get to the NBA Finals this year, he's going to be frowned upon even more than the Los Angeles Clippers.
I think he's played he had a bigger game once upon a time in a game 7 against the Golden State Warriors where injury precluded him from playing ultimate.
That was the first round game, yeah.
Yeah. All I know is it's must-see. It's on ESPN tonight. It's going to be another nap espresso day. Back to our top story. Trae Young, 48 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, pulling off the upset on the road. But how does he compare to Luka Doncic? Max, over the next 5 years, who are you taking? Are you going Trae Young or are you going Luka?
I'm going Luka. And this is the point Stephen A. usually makes. You have one guy who's a little over 6 feet and one guy who's 6'8", and they're both great. Take the 6'8" dude. Know why? The basket's 10 feet in the air. Luka has a chance to be the best player in basketball before too long. In fact, even KD played out of his mind, right? And so I don't think Luka, you have to like the way KD played last, better even than the way Luka played last. But Luka's one of those guys where if LeBron's crown is in dispute because he got hurt and we don't know, Luka's one of the guys in the conversation right now. Is Trae? I don't think quite. I like Luka.
I don't blame you for that, but I would say to you, we can't summarily dismiss the notion that Trae Young ain't worth that either. Numbers are similar in the postseason. And here's the advantage that Trae does have, Max. He doesn't have baggage. Luka,
one of the most dramatic playoff finishes.
I forgot who was with the most technicals in the league this year. You got that going on. You got a coach in Rick Carlisle that walked away from Luka Doncic. You got a general manager that was there for 24 years that's no longer there. And you're hearing rumblings about how problematic Luka Doncic can be. Now, I don't know about this. Mark Cuban has tried to dismiss it, but clearly where there's smoke, there's fire, because he's going to have a new GM and a new head coach next season. So that's not an accident. Not to mention the fact that if you have something like that going on and you have players that don't necessarily want to play with you because you created a culture that people ain't adapting to.
Yep.
And in the meantime, Trae Young doesn't have that issue because they ain't giving him nothing but love. Then that's a different ball game that's worth considering as well. But I would go with Luka too for now. But I wouldn't summarily dismiss Trae Young because the numbers are similar and brother's special.
Yeah, good options to have. All right, let's keep it rolling here. So we know Stephen A is one of the hardest working men in sports media, right? And we want to make sure that he has a great time when he travels. It's a running joke on the show, Stephen A's travel plans. It's all in fun. Listen to us on Tuesday.
Well, Stephen A., I'm worried about these destinations that you possibly have to go to for the NBA Finals. I mean, do you really want to be in Milwaukee?
There is breaking news here. I don't believe either of them are going to win their respective series, but I don't believe I've ever rooted for Atlanta, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Los Angeles Clippers more in my life. I don't believe I've done it. I don't believe I've ever rooted for them more in my life. That is true. That is true.
All right. Well, Milwaukee was listening to us. Bucks president Peter Feigin offering us a tour of the city. Let me just say this. Milwaukee, a great city, great people, passionate fan base that supports their teams, rally together. They deserve a winner, and they may have a championship in these Bucks. So I would like to take up Peter Feigin on the tour. Dear District, here I come. I'd love to go. Stephen A., I know you agree with a lot of this, but I want to know, is there anything that you would like to add?
I'd like to add that I want the city of Milwaukee to grow the hell up. Stop being so damn sensitive. Let me be very, very clear. The arena, Fiserv Arena, is a first-class arena. That's what the Milwaukee Bucks franchise needed in order for them to stay in that city. Because if they hadn't built the new arena, the owners were going to leave and the NBA was going to force them to leave, okay? That's a matter of record, all right? The fans there, outstanding. Great fan base, great people. I got a lot of friends there. One of my best friends is Gary D. Howard, the former executive sports editor for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel for damn near 2 decades there. One of the first things I did when I went to his house is I said, "What the hell are you doing here? Why would you be here? It's freezing." I said nothing about the people. I said nothing about the fans. I said nothing about the arena, which is first class. They got this kind of LA Live Midwest feel there. That's absolutely fantastic. I was given a tour of that place. It was beautiful. The fans, the fan base, the quality of their team, all of that stuff is first class. And I love the people. And I got friends within the Milwaukee Bucks organization. But forgive me if I don't like cold weather. I've spoken against Chicago. I've spoken against Minneapolis. I said, I asked my boy, in his church, I said, how could you do that to them? Having them in freezing behind Minneapolis, okay? Everybody knows that. I've spoken against cold weather cities all the time, and damn it, I ain't apologizing, and I'm not changing. I never said anything against the city, and you got these reporters and other people getting all caught up in their emotions. Because I don't like cold weather, I spoke against Detroit too, because of the cold. I don't like cold weather.
Oh, I can tell
and
you,
I'm not
Stephen
apologizing for it.
Both of you, as a native Milwaukeean, is that what it's called? I grew up on the corner of Pete Vukovich Boulevard and Ray Allen Way. My father, the brewmeister, showed me at his work what I needed to do to be successful in Milwaukee, and I've made it all the way to First Take. And I won't let you besmirch my city's name.
Yes, never meant to offend. We never meant to offend anybody. It's just a joke that Stephen A. likes Miami and California. That's really what it is. So our apologies. And I'm going on that tour.
You do that.